Hello everyone, welcoming you all in this uh, online series of videos in which we are covering 100 most important topics for your upcoming UPSC Civil Services Prelims exam 2026. So in this video, I am going to cover uh, the first is Advaitvada. Advaitvada of Shankaracharya, then Vishishtadvaita of Ramanujacharya, and after that I will move towards Bhakti Movement and the Sufi Movement. So once again, as I have already told in my all the previous videos, कि here I am not going to cover the topic in detail. I am going to cover only those parts which are really important for your upcoming exam. So firstly, starting with Advaitvada. Advaitvada or the philosophy of non-dualism. Philosophy of non-dualism. In the last video, my dear, I have discussed a little bit about Sad Darshan or sixth system of Hindu philosophy. And in those Sad Darshan, I discussed about Vedanta philosophy propounded by Badrayan. So the philosophy propounded by Badrayan, known as Vedanta philosophy, and he wrote a book, Brahma Sutra. But that book has not been written in a very detailed manner. Rather, it has been written in a formula based manner. Getting my point? So now we are going to see the interpretation of Vedanta philosophy. So in Indian history, in Indian philosophy, there are so many scholars who interpreted Vedanta philosophy, like Shankaracharya, like Ramanujacharya, like Vallabhacharya, Nimbarkacharya, Madhvacharya, in fact Chaitanya, and in modern age the Aurobindo and the Swami Vivekananda, all interpreted what? The Vedanta philosophy. So the most important interpretation of Vedanta philosophy comes from what? Shankaracharya. And the Shankaracharya's interpretation of Vedanta philosophy is known as non-dualism or Advaitvada. I think that you already knew that the birth year of Shankaracharya is around 788 AD, where in Kerala there is a village called Kaladi. From the Bhagavad Padacharya, he received the ideas, the teachings of Upanishad, and then he interpreted his own theory, you can say, based on the Vedanta philosophy, Advaitvada or non-dualism. So in this philosophy, Shankaracharya stated what? That this universe has been created by the God or the Brahma. Brahma has created this universe, but the universe is in fact myth or illusion, Maya, and the soul or the Atma, soul or the Atma is an integral part of the Brahma, and everything else is unreal. So in order to attain salvation, soul has to realize that I am an integral part of what Brahma. Soul is identical with Brahma, and soul has no independent existence. So that was the interpretation of the Shankaracharya, and his interpretation is called non-dualism or Advaitvada. It means soul has no independent existence. Soul is an integral part of whom? Brahma, that is God. And the God of the Brahma, the God or the Brahma of Shankaracharya is formless, that is Nirguna. Nirguna or formless. And in order to attain salvation, a person has to acquire knowledge based on Upanishad, based on Vedas. Clear, dear? So this is the first important point that you must keep in mind. Now, next thing about this, about the Shankaracharya, few scholars called Shankaracharya as Prachanna Buddha or pseudo Buddha. Not all. Few scholars called Shankaracharya as Prachanna Buddha or pseudo Buddha. Why? So according to them, that Shankaracharya was inspired by the Mahayana philosophy. So that's why he has been called by few scholars as Prachanna Buddha. So here I discussed a little bit about what? About the Advaitvada. Now next is Vishishtadvaita. Vishishtadvaita or modified monoism. Modified monoism. Sometimes also referred as qualified non-dualism. The propounder of Vishishtadvaita philosophy was Ramanujacharya. Belongs to 11th and 12th century AD. 11th and 12th century AD. He was a Vaishnavite saint of which region? Tamil Nadu region. 11th and 12th century AD Ramanujacharya. So propounder of this particular philosophy is clear. Now he is going to modify the Shankaracharya's philosophy of Advaitvada. So that is why it is called modified monoism. Clear? So under this philosophy, what Ramanujacharya says, he says that the Brahma, this entire universe and the soul all are real. Nothing is myth, nothing is illusion. Shankaracharya says this universe is Maya or illusion or myth. But Ramanujacharya says what? No, this universe is real. Getting my point? Now, all have their own existence. Soul has their own, universe has their own, God or Brahm has their own. But this soul and God, the soul and the universe all are dependent on God. All cannot live independently. All have no independent existence. It means non-dual. All have, although all have own, you can say they had their own entity, they had their own presence, but they are totally dependent on whom? On the God. Shankaracharya says कि no, the soul has no independent existence, but here they, the soul and the universe has their own independent existence, but they are totally dependent on whom? On the God. So they cannot live separately, they cannot live independently. They are totally dependent on whom? On the God. So they had their own existence, but no independent existence. So this concept you must keep in mind. And the second thing about this Ramanujacharya is the idea of Prapati Marg. Prapati Marg. You know, Ramanujacharya interpreted, explained the idea, the philosophy of bhakti. And he says what? That in order to attain salvation, a people should follow the path of love and devotion, should follow the path of love and devotion. To whom? To the venerated gods. So he propounded the or explained the philosophy of the bhakti. And he says that in order to attain salvation, a person has to dedicate himself completely. To whom? To the God. So it means that a person has to follow what? The idea or the path of love and devotion. So from here, one more point that you must keep in mind, and that is the God of Ramanujacharya is Sagun. Sagun, no formless God, the God with form, attributes. The Shankaracharya's God or Brahma was formless, Nirgun, but the God or the Brahma of Ramanujacharya is Sagun. And the sect founded by Ramanujacharya is Sri or Lakshmi Sampradaya. The sect founded by Ramanujacharya is called Sri or Lakshmi Sampradaya because Ramanujacharya was basically a Vaishnavite. And I think that you all might be aware that his mummified body has been kept where? In the temples at Sri Rangam, Tamil Nadu. Whose mummified body? The mummified body of Ramanujacharya. So here I discussed what? I discussed a little bit about Advaitvada, a little bit about Vishishtadvaita or modified monoism. So from here onwards I am moving towards the Bhakti movement. Bhakti movement. Under the Bhakti movement, I am going to discuss important features of Bhakti movement, then about the prominent Sagun and Nirgun Bhakti saint. And after that, we'll move towards the Sufi movement. So see dear, Bhakti movement, first of all, started by Alvara and Nayanara saints, where in Tamil Nadu, between 6th to 8th century AD. Alvara, their total number was 12 and they were Vaishnavite. Nayanara, their total number was 63 and they were Saivite. So Alvara worshipped Lord Vishnu, Nayanara worshipped Lord Shiva. So Bhakti movement was basically a kind of, you can say, a reform movement of Hinduism. Reform movement of Hinduism, I am saying. The goal, the basic purpose of the Bhakti movement was to reform Hinduism and the Hindu society. The Bhakti saint, they lay emphasis on love and devotion. To whom? To personally conceived God. In order to attain salvation, you have to focus, you have to dedicate completely to whom? To personally conceived God. So the Bhakti movement lay emphasis on love and devotion. It condemns rites and rituals. It gave each and everyone to attain salvation irrespective of caste, creed and gender. So each and everyone has the right to attain salvation by the following the path of love and devotion to whom? To God. So the Bhakti movement was basically a mystic movement of what? Hinduism. Goals was to reform the Hinduism and also the Hindu society. Getting my point? Now the next point, all the Bhakti saints, they propounded their ideas in the local language, in the commoner's language, in the vernacular language. For an example, the Alvara and Nayanara saint, they sung songs in the praise of gods in which language? Tamil language. The Bhakti saints of Maharashtra, they are going to sing song in Marathi language, and in North India, the vernacular language of North India like Rajasthani, like Awadhi, like Bhojpuri, like Braj, and in Bengal, Bangla, in Assam, Assamia. Clear? Now how they are going to do worship? Their worship, means of worship, very simple. Recitation the name of the God. Singing song in the praise of God. This was their prominent mode of what? Worship. No rituals, no rites, no need to go temple. What is important? What is necessary? Love and devotion. Now the Bhakti saints, they condemned caste system. They condemned untouchability. They promoted, they advocated brotherhood, or you can say universal brotherhood. Clear? Now, the Bhakti saints were divided into two parts, Sagun and the Nirguna. Sagun and the Nirguna, Bhakti saints. Nirguna and the Sagun. Sagun, God has form. Nirgun, God is what? Formless. God is formless. Then the Nirgun Bhakti saint, they were inspired by the Vaishnav Bhakti. Vaishnav Bhakti, inspired by Vaishnav Bhakti, plus Nath Panthi, and plus Sufi saints as well. Sufi saints as well. So here what I did, I discussed firstly important features of the Bhakti movement. So now let us understand a little bit about few important saints of the Bhakti movement. Already discussed here that the Bhakti movement first of all emerged in which part? In the Tamil Nadu region between 6th to 8th century AD by the Alvara and Nayanara saint. Alvara, they worshipped Lord Vishnu. Their total number was around 12, and the prominent Alvara saint were Periye Alvar, Namalvar, Nath Muni. Then we have Thirumangai Alvar, very important, Thirumangai Alvar. Then Kulsekhar was a king. Then we have a female saint called Andala. The Mirabai of South India. Andala was a female saint. Then we have Poyam, Poi. All these were what? The Alvara saint. Remember dear, the Alvara saint and the Nayanara saint, they came from various social background. Few of them belongs to the upper caste, few of them belongs to the lower caste, even to the untouchables as well. The Alvara and Nayanara, they condemns the Buddhist and the Jaina monks. So why they condemns here, I am not going to discuss. Now coming on to the Nayanara. Their total number 63, and they worshipped whom? So they worshipped Lord Shiva. Prominent Nayanara saints like Gyan Sambandar, Sundar Murti, Nambi Andar Nambi, very important, Nambi Andar Nambi, Gyan Sambandar, Manik Vachgar, and then we have a female saint as well. Under this Nayanara, we have three prominent female saints, but the most important them was Amayara. You know, Amayara challenged the patriarchal setup as well. So from here, I am moving towards what? Towards the Maharashtra and the Bhakti movement of Maharashtra known as Maharashtra Dharma. Maharashtra Dharma. The Bhakti saint of Maharashtra, they condemn caste system and untouchability very strongly. In Maharashtra, we have a prominent sect called Warkari sect. Warkari sect. The prominent center of this Warkari sect, Pandharpur. Pandharpur, onto the bank of which river? Chandrabhaga or Bhima river. And under the Warkari sect, people worshipped whom? People worship Vithoba. Who is Vithoba? A form of Lord Vishnu, Vithoba. Clear? So Warkari sect, very important. We have Datta sect as well, but Warkari is very important. Prominent sect associated with Maharashtra Dharma Gyan Deva. Gyan Deva. He wrote Gyaneshwari. That is the Marathi translation of Bhagavad Gita. Gyan Deva. Then we have Nam Deva. So by profession, Nam Deva was a tailor. Nam Deva traveled a lot in Punjab. In Punjab area, he lived around 20 years. Nam Deva. And few of his teachings have been included in the Guru Granth Sahib. He wrote Abhang. What is Abhang, dear? So Abhang, remember, this is very important. Abhang is a what? Devotional song. Devotional song, Abhang. So Nam Deva. So Gyan Deva, Nam Deva. Then came Eknath. Eknath wrote Bhavarth Ramayan. Gyan Deva wrote Gyaneshwari or Bhavarth Deepika. That is the Marathi translation of Bhagavad Gita. And here Eknath wrote Bhavarth Ramayan, the Marathi translation of Ramayana. Then Tukaram, very, very important, Tukaram, belongs to which century? 17th century. 17th century. And his Abhang are what? Very popular in the Maharashtra region. Then apart from, see, I have discussed all these saints in a chronological manner. First came Gyan Deva, then Nam Deva, then Eknath, then Tukaram, and then came the Samarth Guru Ramdas. Ramdas, the author of Das Bodh. Author of Das Bodh. And he also belongs to which century? 17th century. Also belongs to 17th century. So from here, moving towards where? Moving towards the North India. North India. And the first person who spread Bhakti movement in northern part of India was Ramanand. Ramanand. He belongs to which century? To belongs to 14th century. His birthplace Prayagraj, and he was the first saint of North India who used Hindi to promulgate, to propagate his ideas. He rejected the caste based hierarchy. Many of his disciples belongs to lower caste. Many of his disciples belongs to the lower caste. So that was all about whom? The Ramanand. After the death of Ramanand, what happened? The Bhakti movement in northern part of India divided into Sagun and the Nirgun. Sagun and the Nirgun. So Nirgun, prominent Nirgun saint Kabir, Dadu Dayal, Raidas, Guru Nanak, all were what? Prominent Nirgun Bhakti saint. Kabir Das, Dadu Dayal, Raidas, Guru Nanak. Kabir Das belongs to which century? So he belongs to 15th century, Kabir Das, and his birthplace Varanasi. And in which language he propagated his ideas? First is Awadhi, Bhojpuri, and Sadhukkadi or Ulat Basi. Remember the name Sadhukkadi or Ulat Basi. This was the language in which he propagated his idea, Kabir Das. Rai Das was also from where? From the Varanasi. While Dadu Dayal, his birthplace Ahmedabad. Birthplace is Ahmedabad, Gujarat, but he spread Bhakti movement where? In the Rajasthan area. Guru Nanak traveled a lot. He traveled Tibet, traveled Central Asia, traveled Western Asia up to Makkah and Medina, along with his disciple Mardana, and later considered as the founder of what? Founder of Sikh religion. So here so many things are common among what? Among all these Nirgun saints. Like Nirgun saint, they vehemently condemned caste and untouchability. They condemn rituals of not only Hinduism but also of Islam as well. They promoted the idea of brotherhood. They promoted, advocated the idea of religious tolerance, communal harmony. Many Nirgun saints, I am saying not all, many Nirgun saints, they were married and they emphasized their profession. They did not tell to the people that you should renounce your profession. So they were married people, many of them, not all. They vehemently condemned caste-based hierarchy. Uh, they condemned the unnecessary rituals. They promoted, advocated the idea of universal brotherhood, religious tolerance. So that was all about what? The few important Nirgun saint. Under the Sagun saint we have Tulsidas, Surdas, Mirabai. Mirabai was from Medta region. Where is Medta? Rajasthan. She belongs to which century? First half of the 16th century. Kabir Das 15th, Ramanand 14th, Kabir and Guru Nanak 15th and as well as 16th century. Then the Mirabai belongs to 16th century. She was a Rajput princess. Birthplace Medta, Rajasthan. Married with whom? Married with Bhoj. Who was Bhoj? The son of Rana Sanga, and he was the prince of which region? Mewar region. When Bhoj passed away, Mirabai dedicated herself completely to whom? To Lord Krishna. In fact, she accepted Lord Krishna as her husband. She used Rajasthani and Braj Bhasa or language to spread his ideas. Clear, dear? So that was all about whom? All about the Mirabai. We have so many other bhakti saints, and if you are preparing this topic, then I would suggest that you should prepare this topic in detail. Like you must prepare about Chaitanya, about Shankar Deva in Assam region, who spread Vaishnav Bhakti in Assam and Koch Bihar, wrote so many books. Clear na? Then in Jammu Kashmir we have Lal Ded, who promoted or spread Shiva Bhakti. Lal Ded was a female deer. Clear na? Then you must know about Surdas, wrote several books, Sur Sagar, Sur Saravali. Then you must know about the Tulsidas, wrote several books, Ramcharitmanas, Kavitavali, Dohavali. In which language? In Awadhi. So from here I am moving towards my last topic of this particular video, and that is Sufi movements. Sufi movement in India. So like Bhakti movement, the Sufi movement was a inner mystical dimension of what? Of Islam. Inner mystical dimension of Islam. Like Bhakti movement, the Sufi saint lay emphasis on love and devotion towards whom? Towards Allah or the God. Like Bhakti movement or the Bhakti saints, particularly of the Nirgun Bhakti saint, many Sufi saints, they advocated the idea of universal brotherhood, religious tolerance. Once again, like Bhakti saints, they also advocated the role of teacher for guidance and purity of character. Role of teacher for guidance and the purity of character. So see, we have very much similar between what? Between the Bhakti and the Sufi saint. But here you must remember that the birth of Sufi movement had not been taken place in India. Rather, it took place in western part of Asia. And one more thing, like the Bhakti saints, many, not all I am saying, Many Sufi saints believe in what? Wahdat. Wahdat ul Wajud. What does this mean? Wahdat ul Wajud. Ki that God is everywhere. And God exists in whom? In all the living beings. God is everywhere. God exists in all the living beings. So Wahdat ul Wajud. But here, what I am saying, not all Sufi saints. I am saying many Sufi saints, they believe in this philosophy. And Bhakti saints, they believe in what? That God is everywhere and it is present in what? In all the living beings. So here what I discussed there? I discussed the features. Now let us know few more things about the Sufi. So see, the word Sufi has been derived from the word Suf or Safa. Suf or Safa, which means purity or woolen cloth. Purity or woolen cloth. One of the earliest Sufi saint who came to India was Al-Hujwiri. Remember the name. One of the earliest Sufi saints who came to India was Al-Hujwiri, also known as Data Ganj or Data Ganj Baksh. And he wrote a book. Called Kasf ul Mahjoob. Kasf ul Mahjoob. So one of the earliest Sufi saint. Gradually, dear, what happened? The Sufis in India divided into so many silsila or order. Silsila or order. According to Abul Fazl, he described about 14 silsila or the Sufi order in India. Now, head of each silsila was called Peer or Sheikh or Khalifa. Sheikh or Khalifa, head. And the place where the Peer resides with his disciples, known as Khankah. Khankah. In English, it is called hospice. The place where Peer lives with whom? With his disciples, known as Khankah. And normally, before his death, the Peer normally announce whom? Or choose or declares his successor. So successor is called Wali. Wali is successor and followers are called Murid. Clear, dear? The followers, the disciple of the Peer called Murid and the successor of Peer called Wali. Getting my point? And then apart from that, the Sufi silsila, they were divided into Basara and Besara. Basara like Chisti, like Suhrawardi, like Naqshbandi, they follow what? Islamic laws properly, Islamic principle properly. While the Besara like Kalandari, Haidari, Malang, they were not completely stick to the Islamic principle. Getting my point? And they were basically wandering monks. They keep moving from one place to another place. So the example of the Besara are Haidari, Malang, Kalandar. Getting my point? And here the two most important Basara silsila, Chisti and Suhrawardi. Chisti and Suhrawardi. So Chisti silsila or Chisti order. Remember, dear, Chisti order was the most popular Sufi silsila in India. In India, it was founded by whom? Moinuddin Chishti. He made his Khanka where? At Ajmer. He came India around 1192. It was the time when Muhammad of Ghur defeated Prithviraj Chauhan in the second battle of Tarain. Remember this point. So around 1192 he reached India, and later he settled where, or made Khanka where? At Ajmer. Moinuddin Chishti, also known as Garib Nawaz. Then after that, Moinuddin Chishti, we have his successor Khwaja Qutbuddin Bakhtiyar Kaki. Khwaja Qutbuddin Bakhtiyar Kaki. And the Iltutmish built Qutub Minar, completed Qutub Minar, and completed Qutub Minar in the memory of whom? This great Sufi Chishti saint, Qutbuddin Bakhtiyar Kaki. And after that we have Baba Farid. He spread Sufi Chishti order where? In Punjab area. Then the most popular Chishti saint was Nizamuddin Auliya. Nizamuddin Auliya. He made his Khanka where? In Delhi. And he practiced yoga, pranayam. So that's why he was called Yogi and Siddh. Yogi and Siddh. After that, Nizamuddin Auliya, we have Nasiruddin Chirag Dilli. He remained where? In Delhi. While one of the disciple and wali of Nizamuddin Auliya moved where? In you can say Daulatabad, Maharashtra. And the name of that famous Sufi Chishti saint was Burhanuddin Garib. So who spread Chishti order in Deccan region? The first answer is Burhanuddin Garib. Burhanuddin Garib. So he spread Chishti order in Deccan, and his Khanka was Daulatabad or Devgiri, Maharashtra. Clear here? Now the Chishti saints, they believe or practice Sama. Sama means recitation the name of God or Allah, associated with what? Music. So it's a kind of what? Musical recitation the name of God or Allah. Sama. Then one more thing you must remember about the Sufi order is that normally the Sufi Chishti saint, they kept themselves away from the state. Normally they did not take the state patronageship. Normally did not take the state grant. Normally I am saying. Normally they lived the life of commoners. Whatever they received from the people, they distributed immediately, instantly to whom? To the poor people, to the needy people. In fact, they devoted their entire life to the service of the mankind. They said that we are seeing God, we are seeing Allah in whom? In the commoners, in the poor people, in the downtrodden people. So that was all about what? All about the Chishti order. So from here, moving towards Suhrawardi order. Founder of the Suhrawardi order was Bahauddin Zakaria. Bahauddin Zakaria. Remember, dear. Bahauddin Zakaria, and he was contemporary of Iltutmish. He helped Iltutmish a lot. Now the Sufi saint of Suhrawardi order, they accept the state service. Their Khanka was visited by the ministers, the sultans, so they accepted what? The state service. They said that we are taking state grant, we are taking money from the rulers. Why? In order to help the downtrodden people. Chishti they reject the state service, while the Suhrawardi, they accept the state service. In fact, many Suhrawardi saints, they lived in the court of the sultans or in the court of the rulers. One more difference between the Chishti and the Suhrawardi is that the Suhrawardi, they rejects Sama. They rejects Sama, that is no musical recitement, the name of the god. They recite the name of the god, but not by song, not by kawali. And the Chishti, they recite the name of the god by song or by kawali. Clear, dear? So that was all about the Chistis and the Suhrawardis. So thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.